Greetings! I'm Septum, and you're watching Inside Movies Galore. For this movie review, I'm sitting down with a little classic called Die Zombie Die, a 2005 film by Caleb Emerson and Zombastic Productions. This film sort of comes across as a Dead and Breakfast vibe, about a man who is a serial killer and his lovely wife. Unfortunately, on an evil island, a mad scientist has plans to take over the world with his new zombie ray. Can our hero stop him before it's too late? Can he save his wife, who has been kidnapped by the vile fiend? You'll have to find out by watching the film. So, there are a number of good things about this film. For instance, one, I really was pleased just in the very beginning because the Zombastic Productions logo, that told me everything I was going to need to expect from this film. And it set the tone wonderfully. I love this particular logo. I hope that you guys keep it for all of your films. It is just, to me, it gave me just even a little bit of a laugh just to start right off. Also, Hazel Atkins, who did the initial narration and had a part in the movie, this was also a great part of the film. I really enjoyed what he brought to the film, the extra humor, and just the opening narration. Again, killed it. So the film has a very strong opening to it. I also thought that the very first part, which introduces our hero, was quite hilarious. So, just right off the bat, you are actually getting the theme, you're getting the feel of what this is going to be like, and you're getting a lot of funny scenes that help build your anticipation for the rest. I also want that world map. I want like a copy of this map because he's got this map with basically all the countries listed wrong, and I just want that posted on my wall as this world map so that I have it and people just look at it and just go so very good things in this. I also like the way that they did the Hell Castle. It sort of has a Pee-wee's Playhouse type vibe. And if you actually don't see it the first time, I suggest you just take a quick look at an episode and then come right back to this. I don't know if that was an influence, but that's what it reminded me of. And I always thought that despite all the controversy, there was just something neat about the art style of the Pee-wee shows and movies and such. The ending also generally pleased me. There are a lot of ways that they could have gone with this that would have made me look at this film in a worse light. And that didn't happen. So again, kudos. So let's talk about the acting. Let's just be straight here. The acting is definitely not the best here. But this is a B movie. You expect B movie level acting. And because of that, you get something over the top and quite funny, actually. I was quite pleased by the acting in this. In particular, the lead, Tim Gerstmar, I hope I'm getting that right, his over-the-top portrayal just killed it for me. Again, I'm giving this movie a lot of praise, if you're trying to rate this by any type of award status, and I don't mean like horror awards, I mean like Academy Award type status, no. The acting is not there. But for what it is appropriate for this film. So I'm not worried about the bad acting, and I do wonder if it is by design. If this was not by design, yes, this is a detractor from the film. But if a lot of the acting was done this way on purpose, again, another great positive for the film. So let's talk about music. I thought that the music was fun. It didn't lend itself to be a super standout in the film, but at the same time, it wasn't something that grated on the ears or took away from the dialogue. I was able to hear what was going on. It wasn't blaring in my ears the whole time. It was appropriate for the match. Again, I feel like this had a Dead and Breakfast type vibe. I'm quite curious if that was one of the things that the director was going for at the time. I mean, I really do like Dead and Breakfast. It was a funny film, and if you haven't seen Dead and Breakfast, go out and see it. It is also a grand old time, and if you like this, you'll probably like that one as well. So, we've talked about good. Let's talk about some of the bad. Well, the sexual humor, I've seen a number of those while doing reviews and discussions for this channel. It can get cringy at times. I'm not one for it being that over the top, and it did get to the point where I was a little bit weirded out. So this, and I'm not that prudish when it comes to this sort of thing. I was able to watch Hostel. I didn't say I enjoyed Hostel, but I was able to watch Hostel. Some of those parts did bother me. I didn't turn it off. I didn't think it ruined the movie, but I do feel like it detracted a little bit at the time. The editing at times was a little bit choppy, and whenever you've got edits, unless it's by purpose, to where you are noticing the definite cuts, that also detracts from the movie because it pulls you away from the immersion of the film. It's nothing major, it's only in a few spots, and again, this may be by design, but I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't present that way, and if it was by design, it again, wasn't quite placed well. So, again, these are minor gripes. Then, of course, some of the jokes do kind of dwell on them a little bit too long. It's not quite as bad as House Shark was with this, because House Shark, it would dwell on a joke for like 20 minutes at one time. This one kind of tried to beat the dead horse a little bit, but only like one or two times, and then realized, oh, it's dead, let's move on. So, last but not least, I did feel like, though, the musical effects were alright, I felt like the sound was not always on point. Much like the editing, this only occurred in a few instances, and wasn't enough to detract from my enjoyment of the film. But as said, it did kind of remove me from the immersion of the film. So, we've had some good, and we've had some bad. So how does that rate with me? I would give Die Zombie Die a 7 out of 10. I actually believe that this is a really good movie. This movie is one of those B movies that is down my alleyway. I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed the overtop acting. I enjoyed the zany storyline and characters. And I thought that the story and ending had a lot of uniqueness, a lot of things that grab you and pull your attention into the film. I wasn't bored, which, as any of you who follow me on my other channel, Septum Sin vs. the World, know that is a cardinal sin. Of course, I've also mentioned this here on Movies Galore as well. So, with that being said, check it out if you can. Diabolique, I've heard, has a few copies for sale. If you want to try and get a physical copy, I know I am. And you might see another physical copy review in the future. But, as far as the rest of that goes, I hope you've enjoyed this review, and I will see you. Goodbye.